Everybody, and welcome to the public forum. I remind all present mobile phones must be switched off before the meeting and that the meeting is being recorded and live streamed. Please be aware we have a 5-minute time limit for speeches in the chamber. You will hear a bell ring at 4 minutes and then another at 5 minutes. If you could please wrap up your speech in that last minute, that would be great. I'll also remind speakers that councillors may ask you a question, however you are under no obligation to answer, and speakers are not to ask any questions of councillors. I'll also remind speakers they have a 1-minute time limit in reply to questions from councillors if any are asked. And lastly, please stick to the topic of your item in the agenda so I don't have to bump you back on course. With that, first up we have Ms Sandra Jones is speaking for the recommendation in item 9.3, volunteer management policy.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Councillors, General Manager. Council is to be commended for developing the policy regarding volunteer management, which recognises the need for a whole-of-council approach to recruiting, supervising and retaining volunteers involved in the day-to-day operation of council business unit activities and programs. As you would be aware, council has not to date possessed such a volunteer management strategy or policy. Council's approach to volunteers in the past has been, at best, uneven. Council relies on a wide variety of volunteers who provide assistance across a number of areas. This includes the 355 management committees, Wingecarribee Animal Shelter, Bush Care and River Care, and recently the Shire Cemeteries. Some points for consideration regarding the draft policy up for adoption today. The policy does not explicitly contain words to the effect that Council recognises and values the contributions of its volunteers. One reading of this policy is that it is about unpaid council workers rather than residents seeking to give back to the community. Similarly, the policy does not explicitly reference volunteering as supporting Council's strategic objective of strengthening community connections, which appears, for example, in the draft Community Strategic Plan 2025-2035, which is also up for your discussion today. Those points aside, the policy for adoption states that volunteers will be treated ethically, with equity, fairness and respect. Until very recently, volunteers at the Wingecarribee Animal Shelter, and I am one of those, have been treated inappropriately, simply because they were volunteers. Despite many having professional careers and backgrounds, shelter volunteers were considered stupid, a nuisance and not to be trusted. Over time, we were lied to and lied about, bullied and belittled, not only by former council staff, but in the past by former councillors. The situation has only recently been turned around, and I acknowledge the efforts of Mr James Bourbon, Acting Manager, Business and Property Services, and current staff at the animal shelter for this. The situation at the shelter regarding volunteers speaks to a need for a council policy about the treatment of volunteers, the need for staff compliance with council policies, and management prepared to listen and act. It is to be hoped that this policy, once adopted, will promote a professional, positive and uniform approach across council towards volunteers. The policy for adoption states that councillors are to provide leadership in the implementation of the policy and that council executive are to lead staff in their understanding of and compliance with the policy. I hope this is the case. Councillors, I commend the policy to you.
Thank you very much. So just wait there for me for a second. Did you have any questions? Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Sandra. Just to clarify, you made some fairly serious accusations about things that had happened at the animal shelter. I just want to clarify, though, that is in relation to former councillors and it's not the current case. Is that correct? Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Councillor Russell.
Thank you for coming and thank you for all you do.
Councillor, just your microphone.
Thank you for coming today, Sandra, and thank you for all you do. And it's true, volunteers are the backbone of our community spirit. When you did have to go through, I would assume, grievance processes in the past, did anyone approach our grievance processes and find them wanting?
No. No, nothing happened. Questions were raised and the treatment was as I've described. I must stress, though, that is in the past. The situation has been turned around very recently, as in late last year, due to the efforts of Mr Bourbon.
Great. Thank you very much. Up next, we have Mr Jeffrey Aston is speaking for the recommendation in item 10.1, Notice of Motion, Procurement Policy Review.
Afternoon, councillors. Jim, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm here to ask for your support on a motion that is practical, timely and deeply aligned with our community's needs and values. A motion to review our procurement policy to better prioritise local, social and sustainable outcomes. We're not asking to increase council spending, we're asking to spend smarter, to ensure that money we already invest is delivering maximum benefit for our local businesses, local workers, local families and the environment. The reality is we're already losing good businesses from the region. The reality is we're already costing the environment and the local region due to outer region contracts who don't contribute to the community, who don't hire locally. In the current economic climate, this is not just disappointing, it's dangerous. Some have argued we should wait for staff to review the policy in due course, but respectfully, the time to act is now. This isn't an operational issue, it's a strategic opportunity. It's your role to set direction that reflects the values and needs of the community. Local businesses can't afford to wait. Others worry this motion is too detailed, that it adds red tape or burdens staff. But let's be clear, this motion offers clear guidance, not extra bureaucracy, and your staff are more than capable of managing a structured, goal-orientated review with reporting that's transparent, efficient and focused. And the evidence is overwhelmingly on our side. Take the Preston City Council in the UK. By working with local anchor institutions and revising their procurement policy, they increased local spend from 14% to 28%, and the region-wide spend from 39% to 79%. That meant 74 million retained in their local council alone. This has led to new jobs, better wages, and measurable economic resilience. Other councils in the UK, in Scotland, their Food for Life program prioritised fresh local produce for their schools. The result, for every £1 spent, they deliver 4.41 in economic, social and environmental value. Not just feeding kids, but supporting farmers, jobs and sustainability. Even in Australia, the City of Sydney is leading by embedding community wealth building in its procurement framework, recognising that every contract is a chance to invest in local resilience. Right here in the Wingecarribee, we have every reason to do the same. Our own community emissions action plan urges us to address supply chain emissions through sustainable procurement. Our climate strategy says councils must lead, support and partner with businesses. Our strategic plan commits us to reducing emissions and building economic resilience. This motion puts those words into action and includes practical steps, defining local supplier, offering fair weighting for local suppliers, encouraging a buy local culture across council events and purchasing, providing regular reporting on spend, impact and outcomes, and aligning with organisations like universities and hospitals to amplify your impact. And let's not forget the local benefit. For every $1 locally generated and spent, we get an additional $4 in economic activity. Local businesses hire locally, they support our local sports teams, they give our kids apprenticeships, they reinvest their profits locally. They are the heart of the community, and procurement is one of the best tools we have to support them without spending a single extra dollar. Councillors, this is your moment to lead, not just with policy, but with purpose. Let's be the council that put our community first. Let's be the council that recognise procurement as a lever for prosperity, inclusion and sustainability. I commend this motion to you and urge you to vote in favour. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions, councillors? Thank you so much. Up next, we have Mr. Greg Walsh of Grow Southern Highlands is also speaking for the recommendation in item 10.1, Notice of Motion, Procurement Policy Review.
Mr Mayor, councillors, General Manager, thanks for letting us speak today. I'm on the Grow Southern Highlands Chamber of Commerce Committee, and I'm also here today speaking on behalf of Business Southern Highlands and also Robinson Chamber of Commerce. All three chambers are talking and working together more, as we had a chat the other day, Mr Mayor. We're collectively known as the Southern Highlands Business Collective. Between us we have over 900 members, and we have a social media reach in excess of about 3,000 people. At a personal level, the reason I'm here talking about procurement, my background in my previous company, we won each of the major procurement awards in Australia from the Chartered Institute of Procurement Supply, Procurement Supply Association and World Contracting and Commerce, their major event in Australia from each of those. So I speak with some background around procurement. Studies done by the Illawarra Chamber of Commerce, and I thank them for this, included our area, and they showed that our business confidence level in this area is extremely low because primarily we don't shop locally. And that's about the public, and it's also about procurement while we're here today as well. And it's important that if we're going to change things, it's genuine locally, not just the appearance of being local. I've had a lot of exposure to these types of policies in the past where people have put in well-meaning policies that aren't managed correctly, and big companies work out how to game them, and it just the rubber doesn't hit the road. So it's important if we do something that it is managed properly and it's accountable. We believe that local shopping is extremely important, and we would hope that the council agrees with us, and that's why we urge the council to look strongly at this particular proposal. And we believe a review of the policy is in order, and we also believe that this doesn't have to cost extra money if it's done properly. I know that everyone's concerned about elements of the policy where there's 10% extra money being suggested on the table. From my experience, you don't have to pay the 10% extra. It's a buffer that's in there as part of a policy, and if we work with local businesses properly, we hope to give council value for money, and as previous speakers have talked about, spending $1 produces 4 locally. What we're after is a fair, transparent, easy to implement policy that gets rid of red tape. As the local chambers, we would be quite keen to work with council and participate in any review of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have any questions? Thank you. Sorry, councillor. Far away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walsh, for contributing today. You're right, it is a very significant moment to be reviewing the procurement policy. I've got a couple of questions for you. When you mentioned that in the Wingecarribee we don't shop locally, what was your source? I didn't quite pick that.
There were studies done by the Illawarra Business Chamber that actually took in this local area, and we've relied on the information coming from them.
Thank you. And what's your idea of a well-meaning policy?
Look, it covers, I suppose, an approach by council that recognises that we are a local community and that we try very, very hard to support that local community, and has a framework in place that's easily done by council procurement to actually undertake this without creating extra burden upon them and without creating extra burden upon everyone involved in it. I've spent a lot of time in the past with the Local Government Procurement Association in New South Wales. They have a lot of tools which I think may benefit council in this review, and with things that are set up as cookie cutter without having to recreate the egg. So a lot of this material exists without being a burden on council and without being a burden on the community.
Thank you. And lastly, you mentioned that the various chambers have done a lot of work to advocate for this sort of thing. How successful have either of the chambers been in the past in actually making meaningful changes to the procurement policy for this shire?
Okay, I'm probably not in a position to talk on that. I'm new to our chamber, and I'm the person who had the day off today to be able to come and speak to you. So I'm not really in a position to be able to speak at length about that. I just know that our chamber members at the GROW, on the GROW committee, have at each of the meetings I've been to since I joined now probably 4 or 5 months ago, extremely passionate about getting things done that benefit the local community and benefit local business.
Thank you. Would you then agree with the proposition that this is the most significant change to procurement policy for this shire?
Look, I don't know. I don't have that detail, if I could be frank, because I don't know in detail what the Shire's done in the past. I just know that we're in a position now where if we recognise all the benefit that can come from buying local, I think we shouldn't be overlooking that.
We had just one more question. Councillor Smith.
Thank you. And one point you make, which is very exciting to me, I heard that you're speaking on behalf of both Business Southern Highlands GROW and the Robertson Chamber, and you touched on actually meeting with Business Illawarra. So can I confirm, if this goes to review, that you're happy to work together with members to really put forward some formal submissions or work with the council team on really getting this policy to the right level?
Yeah, very much so. We've got a commitment from each of the chambers, and I say each of the chambers, Robinson and Business Southern Highlands. I personally haven't spoken to Illawarra. We're using their data for this, but I believe our committee has spoken to Illawarra. We're very keen to assist council in any review and in any implementation of policy around this which assists the local business.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes public forum. The council meeting will begin at 3 p.m.